Computer. Welcome to my laptop, and we are going to take a quick look at our syllabus here for our course Bread and Circuses. So if you have your own copy and you've decided to print it out, fantastic, follow along. If, however, you are following along on this video, fantastic, we'll go through that as well. I apologize from the get-go, I'm not good at editing, and you'll hear lots of little clicks as I move up and down through this, so sorry for the clicks. As you know, this class begins on June 15th and it runs through August 8th. This is a summer course in the summer of 2015. The course is Bread and Circuses, an NSP core course that investigates the creative spirit. Our subtitle is Civic Space, Public Art, and Entertainment. So again, how cities support the arts. Should they support the arts? How do they support the arts? Why do they support the arts? Yeah. And other entertainment venues. So this is an online course. Students are responsible for gaining and maintaining access to the internet, Blackboard, the Newman website, Google Docs, and YouTube for various course materials. If you need information with regard to that, please go to this particular link, and it will help you out with understanding the kind of hardware and software that you'll need to navigate this course. If you can't meet the basic requirements listed in this link, please know that you might not be successful in your navigation of this course. I am sorry, but I just can't be responsible for the technical difficulties that might arise. There are just too many potentials, right? So make sure you can master the software, that you know what Blackboard is, you know how to use it, you are checking your Newman University email or whatever email account you've got in there at Blackboard, because that's how we'll be communicating. The class does begin on June 15th, and there are weekly assignments with weekly deadlines. This is not a correspondence course where you can jump in and jump out whenever you want to. This is an active course. We will get together as groups. We will get together with you and me on one-on-one individually, and there are weekly deadlines. Also, the other thing to add to that is that the assignments, the topics that we cover from week 1 to week 2, etc., will build upon each other. So you need to be engaged in a regular, timely basis. If this does not fit your needs for the summer, if you just don't think you can keep up and be in this class from June 15th to August 8th, sorry. You should consider another class for the summer. So, as you know, I'm Cheryl Golden. I am the instructor for this class. You can find me at goldensea@newmanu.edu. You can also find me on Wednesday afternoons in my office in McNeil Hall. The phone number here is 942, area code 316-942-4291, extension 2178. And I'll be in my office from 12:30 to 3:30, so you can email and you'll know you get a response at that time. If you're looking for me, you can call and I'll be there. So please feel free to get in touch with me in that way. Also, of course, you can come by. We can actually meet in for real as opposed to virtually, so come on by if that's helpful. If those times don't work for you, and you need to come by and visit one-on-one, please, I'm absolutely open to appointments. I'm around this summer, so just let me know what a good time for you will be. So let's talk a little bit about the course description. As we said before, from the Greek theater to the Roman Colosseum, ancient city-states provided both the venues and the talent to entertain, educate, and motivate their citizens. The tradition continues to this day as a hallmark of what it means to be cultured or civilized. Now those terms are in quotation marks because, as you might imagine, those can be loaded terms. We can use those sometimes in a derogatory fashion. We're going to be careful how we use those. But again, this idea of the city as an institution in civilization is absolutely what most historians consider to be one of the key features for identifying civilization, for identifying how people come together and live together and work together. So from London's Hyde Park to the Wichita Intrust Arena, communities have indeed dedicated public space and funding to support the arts and entertainment as an expression of civic identity. So we will be looking at how local municipalities, how local governments decide to support certain venues, whether it's public parks or Shakespeare in the Park whatever that might be. Why do people do this? How do they do it? An expression of civic identity. Can you identify a particular city by the kind of art and entertainment, by the kind of venues that it supports? Some would say absolutely. So let's see, let me pull on down again. Whoops. Here we go. This course examines a variety of ways that cities have used public space and funding to support such activities. Why have cities done this in the past? Why do they continue to do it? How do we determine the sort of public art and entertainment that is suitable for each space? Again, this gets down to civic identity, but also could be issues of ethics, issues of religious culture. What is acceptable to a community? What will they support? We'll get into some of those controversies. How do such displays confirm and create culture that links us together? That's one of the goals of the creative spirit. How does such culture link us together? And how do we experience such displays as a community? These last two issues absolutely get us down to this notion that this course is a Newman Studies core course, and it meets the creative spirit component. The Newman Studies program identifies the creative spirit as something that permeates and transforms the human experience. Through it, we imagine what is possible, we recognize creative spontaneity, and we marvel at the beauty we can experience through the creative spirit. The creative spirit engages our imagination, expands our sense as it flows through us. You know that as a culture, Americans have always been seen as being very creative, very entrepreneurial, very dynamic in their ability to entertain, to identify the next great creative avenue we should push, and we've oftentimes been very successful in that. So this course really taps into that, I think, in an interesting way. The objectives for our course as a core course are the following, and we are going to deal with these pretty regularly throughout this course. So keep these in mind as you're doing your readings. Keep these in mind as you look at some of our assignments. So how do we engage in the creative spirit? How do we take part in that? Where does human creativity come from? That's a question for you. How does the creative spirit lead us towards transcendence? Transcendence, the ability to overcome, the ability to rise up in some fashion. Yeah, that can be. What was it? The Royals were able to break the sound record because the fans in the Royal Stadium last summer were able to cheer so loudly that they broke the Guinness World Record. Is that transcendence? I think it might be. When a whole group of people gets together and cheers in a creative fashion such that they're so loud they break a world record, right? So transcendence. And that's just one way to think about it, right? So that's a community getting together and cheering on to do something like this. You may not think that's as great as a Picasso painting, all right, but it is another element of that idea. How does the creative spirit connect and link us to each other? How does it connect and link us? And then where can we recognize expressions of our creative spirit? These are very typical expressions: literature, music, art, theater, dance. How has the creative spirit influenced various aspects of society? How has it influenced history? Big deal, what are we talking about? Government. Several of your readings will talk about the importance of public space for a city, and that's a government issue. Business, science. Absolutely. So keep these core objectives in mind. We will constantly be referring to them. Readings for this class, you have several. This looks like a very short list, but you actually have several. The first thing you need to get going on is Sophocles' Antigone. Antigone is a play. It's a one-act play from ancient Greece, 5th century Greece, the 400s BC. The edition I have for you here is the Literary Touchstone edition, and the reason I've chosen that one is because it was the cheapest I could find in print. You might find something even cheaper. If you have a Kindle or some kind of e-reader and you have an account with a book provider, you might wind up getting this for no cost at all. Let me tell you, the thing was written 2,500 years ago. The copyright is out. So any edition is fine. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The other things that you have to read are articles that I have created in PDF form, and they will be at Blackboard in your content folder. So more to come on that. So one book that you have to buy, one play that you have to download, however you want to get it, and then I have readings. They're essentially chapters from books, selections from poems. They're at Blackboard in the content folder. You don't need to purchase them. You can read them online, you can print them out, whatever you'd like to do. So those are the readings. Let me please remind you that you need to be sure to do the readings on a regular basis. Please don't get behind. Again, as I said, you'll have weekly assignments, discussions, quizzes associated with the readings, writing assignments, other kinds of creative assignments. You must get those things done on a regular basis. If you get behind, it's going to be hard to recover. So get busy, get going. Always move ahead. No trouble moving ahead. If you have lots of things going on this summer, move ahead. Let's see, you have several assignments in this class, and let's just go through them quickly. As you can see, there's a total of 1,000 points possible for this course. That just means that at the end of the semester, if you have between 900 and 1,000 points, you've got an A. It makes it easier for me. I don't have to average grades. So Out and About is our first project, and yes, that is due on June 19th. That's this week, the first week of class. Get going. That's worth 100 points. You have 3 writing assignments. You'll have some choice on those. Those are worth 100 points each. You have another creative project that's called creolizing or graffiti. Don't get out your spray paint cans just yet. Hang on. That's worth 100 points. And then some reading quizzes, some discussions. And then we have a final project. The final project aims to give you an opportunity to pull everything together in this class, but on a topic you're interested in. More to come on that. So let me just start by saying in your content folder you will find a file called projects. And project assignments, there will be a prompt for every one of these assignments that you have due in the course of this class. No one assignment should eat your lunch, but if you fail to do them, as you can see, it will chisel away and chisel away at your final grade. So please try to get them all in. The first assignment is called Out and About in Your City. It's worth 100 points. You have a prompt at Blackboard for this, but find an activity associated with the city and the arts or entertainment. Go to it, for real, not virtually. Get out and go. Your venue must be a venue supported by public tax dollars. So a county park, the local zoo, the river walk, the sidewalks along the river in Wichita. You don't have to be in Wichita. Any town will do. You're maybe on the road. Fantastic if you are. Go find anything. And the assignment is there at Blackboard, but mostly I also want you to think about one of those goals that we talked about up above, right? How can you see this Out and About project helping us to engage in the creative spirit or showing us where human creativity comes from? Maybe you managed to get to the Wichita River Festival and you saw that the posters for the Wichita River Festival are inspired by the flow of the river and the art design. Perfect. You're in. You've done it. How does the creative spirit lead us towards transcendence, etc.? So pick one, just one of those goals, and see if you can connect it to your experience. That's our very first assignment. Other assignments that you're going to have, again, please read the paper prompt. Don't freak out. These are not meant to be hard. These are just meant to get you engaged with your community, engaged with the topics of the class. Email me if you have any questions, seriously. There are 3 papers due in this class. Do not get crazy. Each one is under 4 pages long. Thank you very much. So between 3 and 4 pages, type double-spaced. And there's no research particularly involved. You're just supposed to be reading materials for class, which you would do anyway, and now you're going to reflect on them on a prompt, on a question that I provide for you at Blackboard in that projects folder under content. For example, everyone is reading Antigone, and everyone will write a paper on Antigone. And I've given you several questions to consider, several things to think about there. You pick one of them and run with it. That's due June 24th. Whoops. That's just next week, right? June 24th, next Wednesday. Get that in. Send it to me via email. Again, 3 to 4 pages. What does that mean to you? That means you need to read that play. Get going on that play. Read Antigone. Read the paper prompt. Read the assignment. See if you can make some sense of it as you move along. Then, after that one's done and you've turned that in and I've had the opportunity to take a look at it and give you some feedback, you'll pick 2 other topics, 2 other elements of this class to write on. We're going to look at Keith Hopkins talking to us about gladiators at Rome. We're going to look at Greenblatt, who's going to talk to us about how London influences Shakespeare's work. We're going to look at Mary Ryan, who's going to talk to us about how the American parade is distinctively American and it really reflects changes in the American city. So 3 different topics, 3 different ideas. You pick 2. If you like your gladiators, do them quick because those due dates are firm. We will not be playing around with the due dates. Please get them in on time because as soon as you're done with that gladiator paper, we'll be moving on to something else. So pick the other 2 you want. Everybody does Antigone, but pick the other 2 you want. Again, all of the assignments are in that projects folder under content. I'll also ask you to do this other creative project. We're calling it Creolization. That's after another essay that you'll read. This essay is written by Ivor Miller, and he's talking about the graffiti that just spontaneously began to take over New York in the 60s and 70s, 1960s and 70s. And he's going to ask the question, is this vandalism or is this some kind of art? What is this? No points for no points for guessing that he seems to think of it as art. And this topic, absolutely controversial. So your job will be to run around your town, safely please, run around your town looking for examples of graffiti, and maybe not just graffiti, but any kind of impermanent art Miller likes to talk about. So street performers, sidewalk art, murals, advertisements, any of the expressions that Miller is talking about. See if you can, I want you to find at least 3 images. Take pictures, please. If you can't take pictures, draw a sketch. If you can't do that, just be able to put it into words. What did you find? And again, take a look at that. We're going to connect them to the goals of the course, but also to what Miller's doing. So again, there is an assignment in your projects folder. I guess what I'm trying to let you know is that yes, there are projects to do in this class. They're not all writing. They're not all artistically creative. They're going to be a combination of the 2, and they're almost always going to have something to do with the city and the community and whether or not this particular piece that you're writing on has something to say about people living in a city and what they expect from their city. The final project, and again, we'll talk about all of these things as we go along, but I always think it's important on the first day of class to take a look at the syllabus and to know what you're getting into. The final project, we are going to do this as we go. I said before, you need to get engaged in the class from the very first week and just let things build up. Build. And we're going to do this project in parts. So on July 6th, I'm going to ask you to turn in the first part of the project, which I'm calling Explore. Explore. And this idea is, much like your Out and About project, find an element in the city that helps to define the identity or the culture of that city or community. Some kind of venue, arts or entertainment. Again, it could be the zoo, it could be a botanical garden, it could be a bike path, it could be a great piece of architecture or art. What is it that seems to say, this is my town, this is my city, right? You can consider things like concerts, as I said before, museums, performances. Do a little research, attend the event or venue if you can. Again, any city will do. You can use your Out and About project if that's what you want to do. right? You can use your creolization project, right, for inspiration. Whatever you want to do, feel free to build on things that you've already done. Yeah? You'll, in this Explore project, identify 3 of those 6 goals for the creative spirit that you think can kind of connect to your project. So that's step 1. Step 1 is just find a venue, find an event, identify 3 of those goals, make a statement, this is what I'm going to do. Big. And you're done. That's part 1, right? As you continue, you can see, and obviously I cannot do well on this manipulation here of this file. As you can see, I hope, as we get back down here, sorry, we start with this July 6th, right after July 4th holiday, turning in your Explore project. Then I'm going to ask that you do a little research, find out what's the financial side of this, where does the money come from to support this venue, to support this event. If it's the Wichita River Festival, if it's the 4th of July fireworks in your community, who pays for that? How does that get done? So do a little research. I'm calling it Follow the Money. Again, we'll remind you every step of the way. And then on August 3rd, this is the big part of the project, and this is almost the last week of class, right? On August 3rd, I'm going to ask you to turn in a paper, a 2 to 3 page paper, that demonstrates why you chose this topic, what was your inspiration, what are the 3 goals, and how do you connect those 3 goals to your topic? What's your analysis? That's the hard part. And then also somehow in your paper, how can you connect those goals to 3 of your course readings, to some of your discussions or activities, right? So this is how you can sort of pull together things you've been doing. So if you are interested in Arrowhead Stadium, maybe you'll connect the readings on gladiators. Maybe you'll connect the readings on the New Orleans Superdome, right? So maybe those are the kinds of things you'll be able to connect. Turn that in on August 3rd. Included in that process paper is something you'll tell us. If you were to present this project, I don't know, professionally or to a classroom, how would you do so? Would you do it in PowerPoint form? Would you come up with a play? Would you do a movie? Would you write a poem? We have had poems in this class. We've had presentations done with song. It's really quite a lot of fun. So how would you do that? And that's what's going to be due on August 5th. Sort of a creative reflection on this example, so on your project. So again, some people have done videos, some people have done interviews with people, some people have presented straight PowerPoint. Again, wherever your creativity takes you, that's the goal there. We'll turn that in on August 5th, and by August 8th, I want all of you to look around your group and see what people have done and offer some constructive criticism on the projects that you find there. This is a very brief overview and introduction to your final project. The goal here is that you can use things that you've already done, use elements you've already worked on in various ways to sort of build this final project. So as you're doing your work in class, think to yourself, ooh, is that something I could use in my final project? Will that help me to complete this course? Yeah. Again, more to come on this. This is just a brief overview. I am going to annoy the living daylights out of you, reminding you of due dates, reminding you of ways to complete these projects. In addition to your out and about project, your writing projects, your creolization, in addition to that, there's going to be weekly quizzes and discussions that relate to our readings. Again, the questions there are designed in a way to help you sort of develop your ideas in your papers, to help you develop your ideas for your final project. I'm hoping that you're working your ideas out there and that you can actually use not only your ideas but your colleagues' ideas from these discussion boards to help you develop some of your ideas for your papers for your final project. This is the 300 points that's actually the easy stuff. So come, show up, participate in discussions, participate in the reading quizzes. That's like 1/3 of your grade. And honestly, that's just the stuff that's fun. That's the stuff where you get to talk to each other and see what's going on, what other people think of these readings and of these events. Grading policy, as you can see, we said it before. If you hit 900 points and better, that's an A, 800 points and better, that's a B, etc. So please stay up on your work. Please keep it coming on time, and everybody will just come out really well, I hope. I did want to mention plagiarism. This is an online class, and so it's very tempting, frankly, to, while you're already online reading things for this class or already online answering quizzes for this class, just to get out there and Google what you hope will be the answers to some of the questions that are plaguing you. Please, there's no need. Please just use the material we have in class. Please cite your sources. Please cite each other. If you get ideas from each other, please give each other credit. There's no reason not to do that. It shows your work. Right? I'm very much interested in your ideas. I'm very much interested in how you solve the problems that we're going to face. But if you find someone who's just inspired you, whether it's one of your colleagues or a source out there online, please give credit. Please don't plagiarize. Again, plagiarism is the act of taking someone else's ideas or someone else's words and representing them as your own without giving proper credit. Just give credit, cover yourself, you'll be fine. Think how proud you would be if someone else cited you in their process paper or cited you in their final creative project, that they were inspired by you to come to this point, right? You'll be flattering each other, you'll be thanking each other, and you'll really feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. So cite your sources. This last section here we're calling course calendar. I usually put a course calendar in my syllabi. In this case, for our particular class, the course calendar is the content folder. There you will find weekly assignments, weekly readings, multiple folders sometimes for each week, particularly in the beginning. But as we move along, I think you'll find it very easy to follow. So please take care, mind your due dates. Look for discussion boards, look for quizzes, look for group activities. Again, if you have any trouble navigating Blackboard, please email me, please contact me, let me know. So, thank you for paying attention. I know going through a syllabus can't be the most exciting thing to do on any day of the week, but I appreciate you going through this. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions, and off we go.